Hello to my Leos. Let's see what kind of week you're going to have. This video is going to take you out through the rest of the month, through March 31st. Let's get it. Let's see what's in your cards. Leos, sending good, positive energy your way. Let's do it. The moon is in a waning crescent moon. The moon is in Capricorn. And so it could affect the moon phases, affects parts of our bodies, various parts of our bodies. Capricorn rules 10th house. 10th house is the inner calling. So when you hit North Node, inner calling, right? This polarity is Cancer. We had a full moon in Cancer. When I talk about zodiac signs, I'm not talking about people. You want to check your birth chart. So connecting the zodiac signs with houses, right? So you really want to know your houses and your birth chart. So really trying to encourage people to pull their birth chart. Pull your birth chart. Pull your birth chart. So we had a full moon in Cancer, which is Capricorn's polarity sign, and the first full moon of this year. And Cancer is ruled by the moon, like you all are ruled by the sun. So the second full moon we had in your sign, full moon in Leo, right? And that full moon in Leo, the theme for that really was around going where you are appreciated and not where you're tolerated, right? And so you learned a lot about going where you are appreciated and not where you're tolerated, just shining unapologetically in your confidence, and just being confident and knowing that you have a purpose. Everything that's happened in your life was to serve a purpose, to heal, and how healing and how medicinal that sun is, right? And how important that your sun sign and your moon sign is. That sun would be the masculine aspect, the moon would be the feminine aspect. They are just equally as important, but so are the rest of the planetary alignments in your birth chart. So right now the focus, since Mercury and Venus are both retrograde, you really want to pay special attention to your second, third house, your sixth and seventh house in your birth chart. You really want to slow down. Because planets don't move backwards and they don't move at a slower pace. So you need to slow down. You need to pay attention to everything that's connected to you, your kids, your friends, whoever you consider family, all of those things, right? You really need to slow down and pay attention. Balance it out, right? Because what's hidden in the seventh house, which connects us with Venus by way of Libra, and that's balance, the scales of justice. You don't want to do an injustice to yourself by being your own worst enemy. A lot of hidden enemies can come out during Venus retrograde because so many people are so busy, especially your energy is directed outward. And so if you're just so busy doing, going, you don't even realize that you could have people around you or your kids or your friends or whoever that source is saying, hey, Leo, I need you to see something that you don't even see. And something to be hidden in plain sight, right in your face. So let's get it. Let's see what's in your card so you can finish out this cycle, close it out, finish out this cycle strong. It's again, you knowing your self-worth, knowing your values, right? Second house is about personal resources, your money habits, your possessions, your values, your financial security, your self-worth. You are money, knowing your self-worth, right? Your income, right? Managing your own money, knowing your self-worth. And that, again, not being your own enemy. Somebody else managing your money, and next thing you know, something come up missing and you're like, oh my God, I trusted this one. So let's get into it. To intensify your psychic talents, Psalm 78. So yeah. Alrighty. Somebody could have a psychic amongst them that sees you as competition. I keep trying to tell you, and so somebody could secretly see you as competition, Leos, that you didn't see it until now. But I'm telling y'all, the sun illuminates the moon, and so the moon would be secrets. So a secret could have been uncovered that somebody sees you as competition, and you just now, I keep trying to tell y'all, listen, I don't say things to you all to boost your egos, Leos. People who operate in their gifts don't see other people really as, if you operating in your purpose, you don't see anybody else as your competition. People who have already gone through the dark night of the soul, you want people to operate in their light because it's actually helping the whole planet. All those stars out there in the sky is helping to light up the whole sky, helping to illuminate the world, right? Helping to illuminate the planet. So you want people to operate in their purpose. But so here we go. To intensify your gifts, I want you all to tap in. Psalm 78. Go to Psalm 78. Go to Psalm 78. Anybody that you have in your midst that doesn't want you to learn something, they don't want you to know certain things. You need to be questioning some stuff, right? We had a full moon. We had a full blood moon in Virgo. We're not talking about any Virgos. So Virgo is an earth sign, deals with the physical existence of things. Like this is the physical existence of some things, right? So the other side of that would be Pisces. That's water, right? So that would be like somebody said, well, I believe this, I believe that, but then still keeping something a secret. We're not necessarily talking about Pisces, right? Or I believe this and I believe that, but they don't have any physical evidence. They're not showing you something. Somebody's like, well, I believe, and got you confused. You're not really sure. Somebody just talking all around something, not giving you the physical evidence of something. Well, I'm not really sure. Just keep talking in circles. Source is saying, hold on. What? You need something physical. You need something physical. Physical existence of something, right? 701, Angelic Company. You are being protected. Your angels see the struggle that you're undergoing presently, and they want you to feel their loving presence supporting you. Call upon them to show themselves to you in signs and messages today, and in the love and compassion that are around you. Ask them to show you their love now, and believe it when you see it. Yeah. So I just need you to close out a cycle because something has been a bad risk to you. And Source wants you to initiate closing out a cycle. 7 in numerology, is closing out. Something has been complete. And so, something is complete. Something has come full circle. And so this 1 right here, 1. So somebody's going to ask you why this light, this duality to everything. Yeah, duality to everything. Duality to everything. So what the sun, you rule by the sun, right? And you all actually rule 5th house. So your 5th house rules romance, creativity, children, projects, fun, self-expression, hobbies, what makes you feel good. So the sun illuminates the moon. It illuminates the secrets. So something your light has exposed, right? Something about your light has exposed something, right? And so you're intensifying your psychic gifts. That's why I always talk about remaining high vibrational. Remain high vibrational, but you got to go through the dark in order to step into the light. When you think people are being negative, Source is saying, keep going into the light, keep going into the light. There should be a solution to something. Don't just stay in the dark. Come into the light, come into the light. So yeah, there's somebody you're not talking to anymore. Here we have the 2 of Wands here. Because they created some kind of a divide. They created some kind of confusion around something. They created some kind of, see these 2 wands right here? They created some kind of a divide. Some kind of a divide. Some kind of confusion. Created some kind of confusion. Between some people. Right? limited to people's abundance and just left a bunch of confusion. Just left a bunch of confusion. So you like, you know what? See this little bus right here? I'm getting off this bus. I'm no longer inspired. I got too much stuff to do. My abundance and prosperity. I got too many opportunities coming my way. It's too broad. I don't have time for such and such and such and such. The source is saying you're being protected. You're intensifying your psychic gifts. Yeah. And you're doing your shadow work. See this cute little cat shadow? You're doing your shadow work. And somebody's now just as determined. It's like your energy is a fixed sign. You're riding till the wheels fall off until you realize somebody's lying to you. You're like, oh no, I'm done. Nope. So you're coming out of a karmic cycle with two energies. You're coming out of a karmic cycle with two energies. Misery loves company. So something feels too much like, something feels too comfortable for certain energies. For you, as far as you're concerned, some people just love drama too much. They just love, they don't know how to use their fire properly, Leo. And for you, it just feels too much like when you know how to use your fire properly, you inspire, you inspire energies, you add clarity. Like for instance, what I just said here, like to intensify your psychic gifts, go to Psalm 78. That's something, right? But of course, here I also wrote on here, to increase your spiritualism, telepathy, astral projection, writing, automatic writing, etc. Some people really do have the gift of automatic writing. As soon as they sit down, everything that is just coming to them fast. It's just writing, like journaling, writing, just come out, just pop out a book, bam, just like that. Right? But some people will have you spinning around in circles. It's a setup for failure. I feel like everybody may have worked in a place where you could work for somebody who they see that you come into a workplace and you're a bright light. Because I feel like somebody may be getting a promotion. And I'm going to come back to that. And you could come in there determined, like really determined to work hard. You put your energy in, because fire also connects to assertion. It connects us to your energy, putting your energy into doing a really, really good job. You see somebody really wanting to do good, to put forth the energy. You want to grow your abundance and your prosperity. You really want to come in and do the work, right? But you have these divisive spirits. They see you as competition. And so source is saying to you, and they want to create some kind of a divide between you and other people. And so source is saying to you, it's a setup for failure. They see you want to get familiar with, they see you want to get familiar, with people. They see you want to get, they want to, you want to get to know people, you want to get, settled into the job, you want to get so on and so forth. So what do? Intentionally leave out certain steps. It's a setup for failure. They know you new on the job, you're in your probationary period. What do? Leave out certain steps. Or they know you want to get to know certain family members. They intentionally create some kind of chaos and confusion. Oh, they don't like any of my girlfriends. They don't like any of my boyfriends. They hate everybody. They create some kind of confusion. So you go from excited to confused, and then mad and, bewildered. So, or such and such, they go over, they all of this other stuff. You confused, right? So source is saying to you, somebody does have psychic abilities. Somebody has, and always, and we're just talking about your intuition, your intuition. So source is saying you all are leaders. You all are assertive, right? And so this is where, before you go into confusion, source is trying to tell you, before you get confused, go to somebody who has clarity on something, or go directly to, go to source first through prayer, right? And ask source for clarity of who you need to go to. And if you can go directly to whoever's talking, who has the answers for something, that'd be even better. So in other words, if Your manager doesn't have the answer, but your manager says, hey, this person over here put together the documentation that everybody uses for, the procedure manual or whatever. You're going to go, and the person still works there. That's who you're going to. The person who put together the procedure manual, whatever. If it's family situation and somebody's talking about a particular family member, and you hear this gossiping and stuff, go directly to the person that they're talking about. Go to them. Hear their side of the story. Don't talk around energies. Don't even go to their parents. Don't go to their kids. Go directly to the person that people are talking about. Because you're a light high priestess. You've gone through a dark night of the soul yourself to come into the light. That is how. Do your shadow work. You have your own intuition. Meekness does not mean weakness. Source wants somebody to come out of a karmic cycle themselves. Karmic cycle connects us with the number 8. Scorpio rules 8th house. And so we're not talking about any Scorpios that you know, but Scorpio is a like I said, Scorpio rules 8th house. And so you may have Scorpio somewhere in your birth chart, but 8th house is all about renewal, sexuality, death, transformation, shared finances, inheritance, loans, the occult, mystery, intimacy. And again, 8 is the money exchange number. So when you know your own self-worth, a person who could appear meek, who is meek, who lets source fights their own battles, is not necessarily worried about somebody telling lies about them behind their back, right? Somebody appearing meek, you can go directly to somebody directly and ask somebody whatever you need to know about something that has already done the shadow work. Let me see here. I'll put this here. I feel like you and somebody may be back in the saddle again, just because that may be something that you have in common with somebody, that you have high priestess gifts. You may be connecting with another high priestess. You may be having a warm fireside chat with another high priestess, right? Again, I try to tell people all the time, there's no competition, because everybody has a star to follow. Everybody has purpose. Right? As the source is saying, you're being protected, right? So I feel like somebody may be moving. So we have a 10 of Wands here. Somebody may be moving because somebody has been bullied. Here we have the Chariot card here. Somebody may have been bullied by familiar spirits, and it's just probably maybe more annoying than anything. And they know who's responsible. Yeah, and they're on top of everything. So it could be you. This is something that you may be familiar with. Right? So it's like you're going back down this kind of sort of the staircase of your own mind. Right here, you're going back through your own past memory to gain some clarity of some things. This is what you have in common with somebody. Because you know who's behind what. But you're not going to keep wasting your air going back over something in the past that could be triggering. Something could be traumatic. This is a form of spell work. This is a form of dark spell work. Bullying is a part of dark spell work for some people. That is why when some people have already gone through a dark night of the soul where people are just determined to keep bullying people over and over and over again, and they get great joy out of bullying people. Think about the example that I gave. If I see somebody getting a promotion at work, imagine working for Here you come, Leos, you sunny, bright disposition coming into a workplace. And you somehow keep finding yourself in workplaces where you come in and people just keep, you keep encountering working for energies who see you as a threat in the workplace. You're eager to learn, you want to help, be a part of the team, all of this, and then you find yourself, okay, here we go again. Here we go again, here we go again, here we go again, right? Having to move on, being bullied until you find your north node, right? And that's what happens with a lot of people until they find what their purpose is. You keep asking, what is the purpose of all? Why do I keep moving on? Why? Until you find your purpose. Until you find your purpose, your north node, right? Right. So that's what someone is starting to, that's what the Ace of Wands is. Somebody is like, you now know who's behind, the spirit that's behind it. People the spirit that's behind familiar spirits are energies who don't want to do the shadow work. Whether it's because they don't know what their purpose is and the enemy is having a field day. Literally, the enemy is like the idle time is the devil's workshop. They don't want to do the shadow work. For whatever, they're scared. They're operating in a spirit of fear. They're too afraid that people are going to find out what's going on in their past. They don't want to do the shadow work. They're too afraid that people are going to go back through their past and hold their past against them. They don't want to do the shadow work. They're too afraid that people will believe a lie over a truth for them, so they don't want to do the shadow work. So they just go from place to place, creating chaos and confusion. Yeah, so Source is saying you're going to have to pull out a sword. You're going to have to learn how to leave some bridges burn and move on. So a baton has been passed to you, a baton has been passed to you to just, you have inherited some gifts. Once you learn that some people don't want to do the shadow work because they've been bullied for something. They don't want to do the shadow work. They don't want to face something that they've been bullied for. And they don't want to do the shadow. They're not ready to do the shadow work for whatever reason. You're going to have to pull out the sword and just say, okay. I'm just going to pray for them, but I got to keep it moving. Because you're going to start going through your memory of some things that maybe y'all had warm conversations about. They may have always felt left out of stuff, something about they felt worthless, they were never included or invited in this and that, so on and so forth. They're telling you that they're worth. They were telling you how they felt. Maybe in the family, they weren't in this and that. They just want to be included and involved in stuff. So, and whereas some people, they will tell you point blank period, leave their name off the list, don't invite them. So some people you really just have to pray for and just, just don't add on, don't pile on the bullying for them. You can't push them into, you can't push people. You cannot force people you can't blowtorch them in their back. That'll be the horrible thing to do. So Source is your motivation is changing, in other words. You're back in the saddle again. You're moving on from something. You're moving on because somebody has really been bullied enough. Somebody has been bullied enough. And that's where your breakthrough is coming in, because something is almost giving somebody a nervous breakdown. And so, because you feel like something has been done behind your back, you're not sure what it is. So it's saying, but you're just pulling out the sword and just cutting ties with something, moving on. Here we are, because something has been exhausting for you. Yes, something has been exhausting for you and for somebody. Something has just been exhausting. But something wouldn't have taken so long. Looking at the cards here, something wouldn't have taken so long for you and somebody. Had somebody gone directly to whoever it is somebody was talking about. If somebody had just gone straight to whoever the lies were being told on, then something would have been taught. Yeah, so here we have the Ten of Swords. But anyway, so a complete and painful ending, rock bottom, failure, collapse, defeat. Yeah. Ace of Swords. Yeah, the Devil. Somebody just felt like, I mean, somebody just felt horrible. Like, looking at the cards here, this is what somebody has in common with somebody. Like, somebody just felt like, you know, behind closed doors, like everybody was just talking about them behind their back. This is somebody that you know. And again, this is the devil in the details. This is why Source is trying to tell you to intensify your psychic gifts. All of these lies being told about somebody, the two people being bullied about something, and people just getting way too much excitement out of this. So some major changes are happening here. Major changes are happening here. So Source is, it's almost like, looking at your cards here, Leos, Source is forcing somebody to really think about the future. Like from now on, Source is really forcing somebody to really think about the future of like believing lies when you're hearing things about people. Just believing the first thing you hear about energies. Because somebody is a light high priestess. Somebody's a light high priestess. And so when you're at a crossroad, this is water to your fire, and something is giving you anxiety and like putting a big question mark in your head, and something is called like a cause for pause. Like, okay, hold on for a minute. Wait a minute now. That's when sources like immediately go into prayer mode. Because it seemed like some energies are way too determined to double down on some stuff. Here's the King of Cups. Okay, I had to add a little bit more time here. But yeah, so this Pentacles energy speaks to Earth energy, right? So this must be a Capricorn, because Capricorn comes out here. It's the polarity sign of this Cancer, which is Capricorn. And then this is Earth energy, Capricorn here. So it's coming out 3 times here. So it must be a Capricorn. Somebody just has been feeling worthless since they were a child. And so, but there was 2 energies who, like I said here, has been bullied for a long time. And Source is saying, when people have been made to feel worthless since a child, 1 or 2 things happen. Either somebody decides, somebody makes a decision at some point that, hey, don't invite me to nothing. For them, they close out a cycle and cut everybody off. Literally, as far as they're concerned, none of y'all exist. They will cut an entire family off, and none of y'all exist. For real. They will cut everybody off. Don't care what lies people telling. They'll cut everybody off. But some people, it does matter. And it is very, very painful for some people. And unfortunately, there are a group of people in this world who will believe a lie. And they will spread that lie all over the world. And it is devastating for some people. Some people will pull out the sword, the Ace of Swords, because there's 2 sides of the sword, and they will literally cut everybody off. Literally. Source is saying you as a light high priestess, because it happens to more people than you realize, have to decide if you're going to tap into your gifts, go through your dark night of the soul, and step into your light. Because these are families, and you belong to one. Work family, blood relative family, whomever. That's the intensity of this eclipse, the lunar eclipse and the solar eclipse is coming up. Because the devil is running rampant. With all this idle time that people have on their hands, spreading all these lies and gossip about people. That's why so much craziness you're seeing. This is happening over here. That's happening over there. And everybody thinking it's not going to happen to them or their family. So it's just saying, but it's happening to a lot of people's families out here. Four of Wands here. So this is right here, before people engage in gossip and all of this other mess, consider a lot of people have been bullied out here in the workplace. A lot of people have been bullied. Adults have been bullied. Men out here trying to take care of their families being bullied in the workplace, trying to hold stuff down. Women trying to go to work, trying to, provide for their families, being bullied in the workplace, overlooked. Just craziness is happening out here. And the way that people are they will use their creativity in the workplace to leave out steps, setting people up for failure in the workplace. You coming in all excited for work. And it happens literally in every industry. In every industry, no matter what your age is. People are forced into early retirement. People are ageism, sexism, discrimination against for everything. So source is saying, stuff happening behind people's backs. Just the works. So yeah, here's a death card. So death happens in many different forms. It's not just a physical death. It's going to be death to judgment, for real. This connects us with the judgment card. Death to these karmic cycles within yourselves of just believing anything that you hear. These unhealthy and wounded emotions, just believing the first things you hear about energies. It's literally ending people's life cycles out here. Here's the Sun card, and it's shining a light on some things. Because what goes around, I'm telling y'all, what goes around comes around. That's why it's a karmic number. It's a karmic number. So somebody sees your psychic gifts as somebody that you're connected with right now, that you're sitting down having warm fireside chats, family member sees your psychic gifts as as competition. And source in there they have a very divisive spirit. Source needs you to detach. I don't know who this is, but source needs you to detach. They have some kind of addiction. For them, they can't come out of the dark side. They can't come out of the dark side, right? They can't come out of the dark side. They don't want to go through the shadow. They don't want to come out of the they don't want to do the shadow work. They don't want to do the shadow work. So they like to accuse everybody else of being, devil worshippers and stuff like that. So even people who teach, they like to say, oh, they into devil worshiping and stuff like that. But here's the thing. Light workers actually have physical proof that they're actually into devil worship. But see, if you talk directly to people, instead of joining in the reindeer games, talking around people, then you would know that. When you talk to people who are actually psychic, people who actually have gifts, who have intensified their psychic gifts, instead of talking around people, people have physical, who know their worth, who don't need to be behind closed doors, invited to stuff. They actually have physical evidence of stuff. Eight of Pentacles, because they have done the shadow work to master their craft. That's why I don't see people as gifts. They're actually compassion. They're very compassionate. They're not mirroring compassion. Yeah. So they don't have to sacrifice people. They don't have to sacrifice people. They've sacrificed their time and their gifts. They've learned how to sacrifice time and invest in their gifts to actually help people, not hurt people. Somebody is starting to learn. Somebody is really starting to learn that these type of energies, these energies right here, like to do spell work by bullying people, are just looking for you know, energies, you know, who is somebody who, so they try to play these games with energies who are just looking for a whole new lease on life. So yeah, and they spend a great deal of time, you know, berating energies who are looking for a whole new lease on life. Making these energies feel low, 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 low. I'm telling y'all. I mean, energies like me, energies like you all who are tuned into this channel, we be like, hit the road, Jack. Cut you off. Be done with you for life. Be like, cut you off. Like, ain't no coming over here, for real. But certain energies really feel like they want to connect with, you know, people who are family, like family, those kind of things. And these are the type of energies that people use, that people will use, and they will take out life insurance policies. They'll do this kind of just crazy. I mean, here we got 10, yeah, 10 of Pentacles. Yeah, this is part of some people's legacy. Pull people down to the lowest of low for them, for people, so they can have a new lease on life. Somebody better wake up. Well, somebody is waking up. The average person, when a relationship is over, this right here, people just move on, for real. When a job is over, they feel like, you know what, they playing games on this job. They just are set up for failure. All right, I'm out, deuces. It's just too much chaos and confusion on the job. Let me move on. These people out here bullying, playing games. They're not trying to, you know what, probationary period is over. Let me go ahead and start putting my resume in. I'm moving on, you know. Let me move on to the next place. Then you got them people, they on something else. They get so mad. They just, y'all know the kind of people I'm talking about. They on a different kind of, they on a different mission. Luck is on your side. They on a different mission. Move on and do better. That's how you close out a cycle. Move on and do better. That's how, don't become your own worst enemy. Move on and do better. That's how you move on. Move on and you do better. So somebody now is getting ready to invest in just learning. Like somebody's about to invest in their spiritual knowledge. There we go. Intensify your psychic gifts. Psalm 78. You're about to align yourselves with people who have done the shadow work, so you can teach people how to come into the light. But you got to be able to step into that space so you can help people find a light within themselves. It is not a competition. It's really not. Nobody wants to talk to somebody who feel like, oh my God, you still going through so-and-so? That's negative. Okay, well, maybe somebody needs you to help them get into the light without them feeling like they're being judged. That'll end it right there. Maybe somebody need to hear, okay, I've been through that too. I remember when I was stumbling around in the darkness and I didn't know what was going on. I couldn't find the light. Okay, so can you help me find the light? That's what Source is trying to help somebody learn how to do. Get inspired to help people find the light. Somebody does not want these energies right here, these familiar spirits, they don't want to be enlightened. It's too much fun leading people into the darkness and keeping them into the darkness and keeping them in the dark. Intensify your gifts. Luck is on your side. Aim higher. Come into the ninth house. Right? Come out of that karmic cycle. Clean your space. Ninth, that's right, ninth house. Clean your space. Like I said, death is not always in a physical sense. So some people wake up after they leave a job, after they leave a whether you leave a department, because I feel like somebody's getting promoted, but somebody's back in the saddle again. Somebody's finally moving on. Somebody's feeling good about life. Somebody's getting promoted. A cycle is closing out. Somebody's feeling like, okay, I can do this. It's time to thrive. I don't want to just be stuck here. This is right here. You're speaking differently now. 701. Somebody's like, okay, I'm at a higher frequency now, right? You're talking about legacy. You feel like a whole new lease on life. Something about your energy is just different. Somebody's like, you want to master your craft. You're leaving these feelings of worthlessness outside of your door. Like somebody's learning their worth and their value. And so energies that see you as like a... Anyway, that's what I have for you. Hopefully this has been helpful. Alrighty, this is your video. Make it a great week. Bye.